The next series we're going to do, again, it'll be 2, just like we did Tumo 1 and 2. Now we're going to do what's known as Kanan Li number 2, or Da, or the greater Kanan Li. This actually, I switched, and the reason why I did this will become apparent to you in just a moment. Okay, so this is the greater Kanan Li, so Shao Kanan Li, Da Kanan Li. This is about taking the jing from the kidneys, right here, lower part of the body, and we're going to spin it through the lower dantian, and then we're going to use the energy to bring it up here to the heart, steam that water over the heart, and then shoot it into the brain. Remember when we did the water pumps in the in Hun Yuan in the very first video? Well, exactly kind of the same thing. Now you've got those pumps moving, but where does the water come from? Well, if you've ever seen the Taoist Tonka sort of steel imprintation they did, where there's a little boy and girl down in the water pump and they're doing like this, and then it goes up, and then you see the ox, and then it goes up. Okay, that's basically this. Okay, and this is a really important part of alchemy. There are 2 different ways to do this. Please do not share this outside. This is for you, the individual, from me, the shrivel. Okay? There are 2 ways to do this. The PC way, the people know it outside, because people know this portion of it. I've heard a few people talk about it. Their understanding of it is rudimentary. It's sufficient for what they're doing. But for the deep internal alchemy part, you have to understand how this whole thing works. So, what happens is, I take the hands, and I'm going to place them on either side of my hips here. Okay? I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. And what I want to do is, I want to take and I want to pull up. So for men, pull your scrotum up. For women, pull your cervix up. Right? And what you're going to do is you're going to go. So you're going to pull it up and back. So men, if you just also clench your sphincter, I guess women kind of the same, but you want to pull up on the cervix, women. You come up, you're pulling it. You want to pull this energy up to Do 4, which is Ming Men or Life Gate, where the Ming Men fire is. So, and then after it gets to the Ming Men, bring it over through the diaphragm and down. So, 3 times around there. What is this water? It's your sexual energy, okay? So, women, you know how you get wet when you get sexually aroused? There's your physiological water. Men, it's your semen. It's actually it's not the actual spermatozoon, it's actually the seminal fluid, right? So it's a conceptual thing. Please don't get literal and be like, wow, has lost his mind. I know physiology and histology, okay? I get it. This is about sexual energy, and it's very mercurial, right? 1 second you can be turned on, next second you can be turned off. Very mercurial. This is the water, the mercury, okay? Both the mercury and the water are the same in this particular case. So, you'll bring that water up, and if you notice, it's a sexual movement, right? This has a very sexual connotation to it, hence I don't put it at the beginning, because sometimes people actually use this, and this is the part you don't talk about outside, and the reason why is we cannot associate Taoism with sexual alchemy anymore. You just can't. People are so starved, repressed, suppressed, that they make it a basic excuse to misuse these things and say, well, Taoism says that if I just go and have an orgy, that's like celestial. That's not what we're saying. This has nothing to do with coitus in the way that, Friday night and a thing of tequila. And I'm not against that, obviously, but that's not what we're advocating. It's not what this is about, so let's keep our focus. When these are originally practiced, if you practice them alone, men, you have to tame the white tiger. What does that mean? Don't ejaculate just because you orgasm. Men, ejaculation and orgasm are not necessarily the same thing. Men can have multiple orgasms, but except for why it comes out in ejaculation is simply because it's the path of least resistance, the penis. But if you practice this over and over, then the path of least resistance is the spine, and the orgasm goes up the spine. This is the alchemy. This is what people call sexual alchemy. Do not take it to a master of sexual alchemy now. Just understand, this is the concept that we want. Is we want that sexual energy to go up the spine. This is Kundalini. This is a lot of the different processes, okay? But for women, you can orgasm. Men are yang by nature, so we need to become yin, which means don't use that yang to go up, because our energy already goes up. That's why men are so cerebral. Women, however, are yin, so their energy goes down, right? Having babies, menstruation, everything goes down. You know, what happens with this is women, if they use the masturbation sequence, which is just basically masturbating, but when you do that, when you orgasm, do your practice then, because when you orgasm, you pull up on the cervix. When you pull up on the cervix, you're pushing all that orgasmic energy up, not the do channel, but the one that runs in the middle of the body called the chong channel. Remember, we talked about that at the beginning of the Hunyuan, right? We talked about the do, the ren, the chong in the middle. Well, men's energy goes up the do, women's goes up the chong. The chong channel also is responsible for governing women's menstruation. Okay, so if you can do the masturbation, you do not have to. Do not think you have to do it. But if you do it, what you're going to do, men, you'll get to the point of where you feel that the ejaculation is starting to come on. You'll stop there. Tame that white tiger. Don't let it out. Instead, use energy. And now, I'm going to tell you something, guys. It's not embarrassing to me, but if you're embarrassed, I'm so sorry. You're behind a screen. Nobody can see you. Don't worry. The first time I tried that, I went from full on, yes, standing at attention to what happened, did it break? The energy is not going to be in the phallus. It's going to go up the brain and up the spine to the brain. When that happens, it's going to be gone. You'll be like, oh my God, it broke. Because it's like instantaneous almost. And you're like, oh my God, what just happened? I was so nervous the first time. I went and told the shrivel, I was like, I think there's a problem. And he's like, no, this is supposed to happen. I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, I had more of a relief from that. Oh my God, thank you. Than actual practice. But okay, now you know more about your shrivel than you want to know. I know. Whatever. We're kin now. So 1, 2, 3. Then pull it up to the heart. Now that water is being put over the heart to be steamed, the fire of the heart. So you go through the heart 3 times. And then you push it up into the brain. Now the hands will go over the ears on this one. You go, see, up into the brain, and now you're going to make it go this way in the brain, from the back up to the forward and around 3 times. And that's going to get those, cranial nerves nice and saturated. Remember I talked to you in another video on the page about these cranial nerves needing to be saturated? This is how it's going to happen. So we start, it basically looks like this. Pull it up to the heart, into the head, stop it at the 3rd eye, let it saturate, and then bring it right back down here. Never leave the energy in your head if you don't want a migraine. You want a migraine, leave it in your head. If you don't want a migraine, get it out of your head. So that's Kanali number 2. You can practice it with or without the masturbation. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. Women, if you orgasm, which is perfectly fine, just make sure you're using it. And you'll find that you can actually have kind of a long orgasm. In the beginning, you'll feel clumsy. You'll be like, well, I was orgasming, but then I had to think. Yeah, you have to do it till it becomes natural. When it does, you will have this fulfillment, but you're using that energy to go into the brain, because women don't lose Jing through orgasm. They use Jing through menstruation. That's a whole other set of techniques called slaying the red dragon or the gentle deer techniques. These techniques are not for that. This is for getting the gene from here up into the brain. Physiologically, you're also reflexing the spine, making the subarachnoid space where the cerebral spinal fluid made, so that raises the pressure in the brain. There's a whole bunch of neurochemistry to it, but it works. I promise you, if you try it, you do this, you will really like it. But now, we brought the energy up into the brain, we brought it back down after we're at the end. Now we want to do the opposite. So we bring all this yin energy, right, sexual energy. Now we're going to bring some celestial energy in through the eyes and the nose. Eyes are governed by the liver, hun, and the nose is governed by the lungs, po. So this is another kind of copulating dragon and tiger thing. So This is called primordial breathing, and how it looks like this. I'll turn it sideways. So we're going to breathe in through the eyes. So the eyes and the nose are going to take in energy. Feel like you're breathing into the eyes and the nose. And when you do, remember how in Connolly number 2, we breathe it up, it comes up into the brain in this manner. Now, when we breathe into the eyes, we're going to breathe it back, and we're going to make it go the opposite way. So we go. And when you're on your third one, you stop here. This is the level called the pyramids, or the lines of decussation at the brain stem. This is why this half of the brain governs this part of the body and vice versa. So, and you stop here, you're right there on the spine, and then you hold it for a second, and you descend the energy down the spine to the sacrum. So with the sexual energy, you steam it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 up into the brain. This one you're going to 1, 2, 3 in the head and down. So remember in the Hun Yuan, we go up the spine, down the front, and then we go up the front, down the spine. It's kind of like that, but we're really going up and down the channels now more than anything. And we're not just using Qi to do it like we did in Hun Yuan. We're doing it with the actual viaticum of sexual energy, and then clear Qing Qi, or heavenly energy, or clear energy for and all. These two right here, this is power. It's right in the middle. This is the middle portion of it. And I want you to practice these two because they're very, very important. Because once these two get accomplished, once you get really done with these two, what you'll find, what will happen is your vitality, your jing starts to go up, and your energy level, because if the jing goes up like the cup, the bigger the cup, the more the energy, the more the chi, the more the water inside, okay? So that's those two. If you have any questions, if you're thoroughly squeamish or anything else, good. Welcome to Tao. It's completely glamorous, I promise. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, write those down. Okay, cool. Good luck with your practice. Want to hear about them.